Thanks, Madam Chair, and welcome, Madam Secretary. Since you're the Secretary of Education, I think it's maybe appropriate that we start questioning with a pop quiz. Are you ready?
I never have liked pop quizzes.
I never have either, but I'm going to give you the answers ahead of time. The answers are 8 and 30. 8 and 30. Remember those two numbers. What percentage of high school students in America attend for-profit colleges and universities?
8%.
8%, perfect. What percentage of student loan defaults in America come from students in for-profit colleges and universities?
Must be 30.
It is. Great, you just aced the test. But the problem is that the difficulty these students face becomes a lifetime problem. Imagine, if you will, first-generation college student trying to pick a place to go to school, inundated in high school with glossy brochures for-profit colleges and universities which promise the sun, the moon, and the stars. The student goes and learns that there are Pell Grants available through for-profit colleges and universities. They hear the promises that if they just attend this school and graduate, there's going to be a good-paying job at the end of the rainbow. And it turns out it's all phony. Over and over again, these students are being deluded and deceived. There's much more scam than there is scholarship. There's more hype than there is higher education. So most of them, or at least 30% of them, end up with loans they can't pay back. They never see that job that was promised to them. But they've got one last place to turn to try to get their lives back on track. I've met a lot of these students. Have you met any of them?
I have.
I have seen their stories and heard their stories from them, living in their parents' basement because of student loan debt and no college diploma or a worthless one from some for-profit colleges and universities. You have a department within the Department of Education for borrower defense. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I am.
Can you tell me what you understand the borrower defense law to promise?
Well, first of all, I'd like to address how we started the conversation, not the percentages. But this is an issue, sir, that is, I think you well know, is not just relative to for-profit universities. We have many of our universities today that are promising degrees and jobs which are not being fulfilled, even those from very prestigious and elite universities. The cost of college today is so incredibly high that we have many students who are graduating thinking that they were going to have a job, that they'd be able to repay their loan. But the cost of those loans are so high that even if they get that job, it may not, over the course of their lifetime, would be able to repay that loan. So one of the things that we have proposed, and looking at our FAFSA application forms, is providing information even on FAFSA that would indicate to a student who is applying for a student loan, hey, take a look at this. This is the college you're going to. This is the job that you want, and this is about how much money this job can pay. And is this college the right place for you? Or are these courses the right place for you to take? So let's give up front a little more information so that they actually have an understanding of what their opportunity in the marketplace can be.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I want to reclaim my time since it's very limited. The point that I'm making is there is one brand of college and university that is particularly egregious when it comes to deceiving these students. It's for-profit colleges and universities. 8% of high school grads, 30% of student loan defaults in that category alone. It stands out from all the rest. The point I'm getting to is you're hollowing out the borrower defense agency within your own department. This is supposed to be the rescue for these students to finally get back on track and maybe go to a good school one way or the other. Why would you hollow out the resources there and the people that are enforcing the borrower defense rule when we have these terrible numbers of exploitation of students?
Well, and my point is that we shouldn't just focus on those schools. I do know that I totally agree with you. There are some scam universities out there.
Well, why would you hollow out the people who are supposed to enforce it?
Because I think we're putting other measures in place. But the scam...
Give me an idea what you're putting in place that's better than the borrower defense rule.
Well, we just talked a little bit about FAFSA. It's the education up front so that...
I'm talking about the victims, the ones who are already victims. They're in debt by tens of thousands of dollars. They're living in their parents' basement. They have no place to turn. And you're telling me the FAFSA form application is going to help them? How can it help them?
And that's not in place yet, but I think that's going to be very, very helpful. Here's the other thing. Where are our guidance counselors in high schools? Who are
Good
they
question.
talking to?
I think
And
we're finding
I
when
think
it
that
comes
they
to
need
these
to
counselors,
be totally informed, and I think they need to look at the cost of education.
you're cutting the number of counselors in these schools at the same time.
Well, the counselors that are doing their jobs can provide information to these
There aren't
students.
enough of them. That's the point I'm making. And the situation is terrible for these students. First generation students who are being exploited by these schools. They need your protection. They need our protection. They deserve it. They're doing the right thing. And unfortunately, you're reducing the number of people to enforce the law. I yield, Madam Chair.